Okay, so today we're going to be diving deeper into High Block Capital, and we're going to be looking at some more features of the platform. And so if you recall, we've went over liquidation levels and we looked at our positions heat map. And this is going to be about the trading activity tab. And I want to explain what this is briefly before we start to dive into all these neat features of it. And just say that our liquidation levels are helping us spot liquidity pools, and we charted them and we figured out where the optimal entries were based on some short or long liquidations that we could target on our charts. We looked at our positions heat map to kind of find those clusters of longs and shorts, or buyers and sellers, right? Because this whole game is figuring out this conversation between buyers and sellers. Well, as we talked about in determining control and looking at funding and delta and open interest and all these sentiment based indicators and ways to analyze this, we're going to get a visual representation of that in the trading activity tab. And when we start to combine the trading activity tab with our liquidation levels and our positions heat map, it's really putting the pieces of the puzzle together. And these variables in this trading activity tab are going to help us really determine who's in control, right? We can spot the liquidity, but this is going to help us with inflection points. So let's get right into it. We're going to be looking at our ticker, XBTUSD. This is our perp swap product. We know this from financial instruments. We know this from the BitMEX overview when we're looking at the interface. And this is going to be using BitMEX data. Now, you can look at Ethereum and you can also look at, well, futures contracts. But for the purposes of this lesson and us going over this, we're going to just look at XBT. And so now we can also choose a look back period. And these numerical values are based on hours. So let's just say 24 hours you want to look at. And now this is the cool part, because there are a number of different indicators we can populate and look at. And I'm not going to go through all of these, but I want to focus on a couple that I think are important and that I use and that Zorn uses when we're looking at sentiment analysis and using High Block. So I want to start with the cumulative long-short delta. And we can refresh that and it's going to populate. But while it's doing that, I want to explain to you what it is we're looking at. So it's the difference in cumulative longs and cumulative shorts. So this is essentially a visual representation of the imbalance. And the imbalance would be the positions, so longs and shorts. So if both cumulative net longs and cumulative net shorts are increasing, the cumulative long-short delta is helping us identify which side is growing faster, right? And this is who's off sides or who's in control. So let's just look at this and see if we can kind of spot areas where one party might have been potentially off sides. And if we look at this delta here, we can see the numerical value right here, and we can see there's a 0, and then the numbers are positive and negative. And negative is going to imply that we are seeing a spike in the sellers or the shorts, right? So green is a spike in the longs or the buyers. And we can see here that price was kind of going up and we were peaking on our delta. And sure enough, what happened? Well, the longs got a little over their skis and we see them coming back in here and we can see the price dropping with the longs dropping. And now we are showing a very red delta. And we can see here, if you look, price made a low, there was a peak in the delta and price rebounded, right? Maybe this was our shorts getting squeezed a bit. And I want you to think about the psychology behind this, right? So let's say we were combining our positions heat map with our trading activity tab and our liquidation levels. And for all intents and purposes, let's say that there was a block of shorts that came in at 96.50, right? And we saw some 50x and 100x liquidations. So right off the bat, using those three tools together, I could say, you know, the delta is spiking here. The sellers are getting a bit aggressive. We have a liquidation on shorts up here, and there's a block of shorts there. So maybe the shorts are off sides. And we could see a nice price pop here. And we can see that the delta keeps going red and price is going up. We're not seeing any longs come into the market right now, which is interesting. So this is actually very bullish because there is a potential for a large squeeze. Now, I want to add on one more, and that's cumulative aggressive longs and shorts. And this is essentially the delta, but it's showing us the two different positions, the longs and shorts, and we can see it here. And this together are a very powerful tool. I use this on a short time frame to look at triggers where the delta might spike and I could see a longs drop off significantly and short spike. That could be a good entry. And I just want to kind of condition you guys to start to think this way as you're looking at the market, right? We're taking our TA, and that's great. We have our levels marked and our charts are beautiful, but now we're really getting under the hood here and we're figuring out what these buyers and sellers are doing. So look at this. We have our longs increasing here, right? Again, we have the numerical value right here. You can see the longs are increasing and we can see the amounts. So 8.6 million contracts, and that's matching up with our delta going green. And sure enough, what happens here? Well, our price goes down and our longs are either liquidated, they're closing, and it was most likely reflected on our liquidations level, or if we were looking at that positions heat map, that probably turned from yellow to purple, right? We've wiped them out. And now we can see that the shorts are rising. And we have the zero value. We can see that shorts are above that, and we can see that they're rising still. And we can see this aggressive red delta. And this is a good long setup, right? This would be a very nice bullish signal because the shorts are going to get squeezed. Now, if we turn on some more indicators, we can look at our open interest, which we know from prior lesson, we can look at price and open interest and volume and start to see the relationship. So right here, we can see our open interest and we can start to match it to price. And, you know, at times it's very obvious where if price is going down and open interest is going up, that's a very bearish signal. But there's nothing too obvious here, but it's just something to add on to for a point of confluence and gives us a bit more confidence in our directional bias. And the last one I want to look at is funding. And this is a big part of determining who's in control and looking at what party is off sides, because when we see rates drop, right, where the perp swap is trading at a discount to our spot index price, or when it's at a large premium, we can tell, okay, well, if it's at a premium, maybe the longs are getting a little too excited. Well, if it's at a discount, maybe the shorts are getting too excited. And now this is the piece of the puzzle that I really like to see. We have a very red delta, we have shorts in the market, and we have predicted funding in the negative zone. So this trading activity tab is a very powerful tool combined with our positions heat map and our liquidation levels, because this is helping us really form our directional bias based on viewing what the buyers and sellers are doing and what party is possibly off sides. So this concludes the trading activity tab. And as we dive deeper into this and we look at the graph section of this, a lot of these indicators are going to be able to be used in TradingView. And HighBlock has a unique feature where we can start to chart this and see it in our charts, all in one nice clean picture. So we're going to get into that in the next lesson. But for now, start to think about how the trading activity tab, the liquidation levels, and the positions heat map are all going to play together and help us craft trade setups going forward.